At Taylorville Estates Assisted Living, life feels lighter. With helping hands always nearby and activities that bring people together, every day offers comfort and connection. From shared meals to shared moments, it's a place that feels like family. Discover the joy waiting at Taylorville Estates Assisted Living. Click their icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
WTIM. You're listening to the WTIM Morning Show on your information station. The show is sponsored by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville. I'm your host, Reed Kamai, and our next guest this morning is Ted Chapman. He is the organizer of the annual 9/11 Remembrance events that take place in Taylorville. Ted, thanks for coming in this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, it is. It is really good to have you on. I know you're on every couple months to talk about this. And it's of course especially significant this year. It's going to mark 25 years.
Yes,
yeah, quarter century. Yeah,
25 years ago.
That's right.
That this occurred.
Yeah, 25 years, and then of course the other big coincidence is that it does happen on the 250th year of the United States' independence. So yeah, just big deal all around. And we're going to talk about essentially where you folks are at with the organization of it this year. This, like I said, it sounds like this has been an annual thing. How, I mean, has this something that's happened like every year since it happened?
No, we at the fire department, we had a small one right at the fire department on the 20th anniversary, but we've not had one since. And I just could not let the 25th anniversary of this event pass without doing something to bring it back into the forefront of our minds again.
That's right.
So most people that were of an age where they could visually see it, watch it on television and stuff, they know exactly where they were at. They know what was going on when this happened. And it's just been really embedded in the hearts and minds of those of us that were old enough to remember this when it occurred.
Yeah, and I know, and you've been on this show before, you've probably shared it before, but for those who maybe don't recall, you and I were talking just before, you were a firefighter in Taylorville, is that correct?
Yeah, I had just joined the fire department about 18 months before this happened, and was at the firehouse that day for training when it occurred, and was able to sit down with fellow firefighters and watch this in just shock and awe to know that it wasn't just an accident, but it was a well-planned, well-executed attack on our nation.
Yeah, that's you know what it was, and and yeah, for anyone who saw it at that point, obviously, yeah, it just you use the really, I think, the right word, embedded in what it is and what it is you saw and how it went down. Did you have something to add?
No.
Okay. All right. I just heard it in my headphones, so I just wanted to ask. So I want to talk about the plans for this year. It sounds like you're getting some of the logistics in order. Yeah, first, just let our listeners know of when and where it's happening.
Okay, this will occur on the north side of the Taylorville Square. And in the case of inclement weather, if we have bad weather that day, we're going to be moving to the exhibition building on the fairgrounds so that we can hold it that day. It'll start at 10 o'clock, last approximately an hour, and then we've got the cooperation of all the fire departments here in Christian County, and I'm looking forward to it. I feel like it's something that, will again reveal that, the United States is not exempt from being attacked.
And yeah, that's what you have planned there. How many fire departments is that are involved?
Right off the top of my head, I'm thinking it's 7, but I'm not real sure. I know there's Mount Auburn, Pana, Midland over in Kincaid, okay, Morrisonville, Stonington,
Edinburgh, maybe?
Yes, Edinburgh.
Okay. That's
That's
six.
six.
And then Taylorville is the seventh.
And Taylorville would be 7.
All right. So seven fire departments. What was, how am I trying to ask this? I'm trying to be careful here. What was that like, trying to get all of the departments involved? Were they on board with it? Did it take some
tell you
effort?
what, thanks to our chief here, Matt Adderman,
Yeah.
he took it before Mavis, which is mutual aid. They meet like once a month, and he took it to all the departments at one time. He is just, he's been exceptional in working at. He was 100% behind it. The city went to the city council about it. They were 100% behind it. The county board went to them for approval to use the square. They were 100% behind it. The cooperation has just been extreme. Park board is going to bring up bleachers. So we're going to have bleachers up there for people to sit on, or they can bring lawn chairs. It's just, everybody has just been so cooperative on board. The bus company, the Senior Citizen Center is on board for it. They're going to provide transportation from the Senior Citizen Center up to the square. They also are going to go out and pick up seniors that maybe don't have transportation but still want to come. So it's just, everybody is just seems to be all for it, very cooperative. And I'm just so grateful for that, because we need to recognize the sacrifice that people have made that day.
Yeah, so it sounds like, getting all the parties on board seems like that worked pretty well. Actually, I remember, maybe you saw me, maybe you didn't. I was at the park board meeting covering it for our radio stations.
Okay.
When you actually made that proposal for the bleachers.
Yeah.
So I remember that. And, it's great that you were able to get them involved in that as well. You mentioned the shuttles, so it sounds like you'll have some ways to get people there. If they're not able to themselves, it seems.
Yeah, especially the senior citizens.
Yeah.
Parking, it's a day when the courthouse is still going to be open. So I talked to the bus company. They are going to run a shuttle from the fairgrounds. If people want to park at the fairgrounds, ride the bus up instead of trying to come up and find parking up on the square. They're going to provide that. So everything is really coming together. We still got a ways to go, but everybody has just been so cooperative. It's really helped a lot. Plus, we did start early on it, trying to get stuff together, and we've had several meetings, and we'll have at least one more. I'm looking at one more meeting of the various entities that will be directly involved in. I'm going to say about a month ahead of time, so that we can get it all on. So the program is coming together. I've talked to the superintendent of schools, and they have consented to send the bring the band and the choir, so that we can have a medley of patriotic songs up during part of the program.
Yeah, and I remember I remember you showed me this right before we got on. You had showed me the program, and it sounds like, the band and the choir is in there. What else do you want to share now about kind of how the remembrance is going to go?
Well, of course, we will do a presentation of the colors, the various flags for the different entities, the police, the fire, the EMS, and the armed forces too, because in a time of a natural disaster of any sort, the National Guard is called out. They've even taken active duty service members to respond to this kind of stuff. Plus the fact that we lost, I think it was 184 people at the Pentagon there. So, we're highlighting not just the first responders, but our service members. We don't want to forget, we're in combat right now. We're trying to do some stuff to take away a threat, to a world threat, really, not just to our nation, but we're working toward that. And being a veteran myself, I want to recognize also our service members as well as our first responders. And of course, our city, our county, our state government, they all are responsible in case of something like this occurring in the United States again.
That's right. And so I know you mentioned what's going on in the the remembrance. I don't know why the word wasn't coming to mind, even though I mentioned it earlier. Anything else you want to add before we go to break about the program, the way it will go?
Well, I think we've pretty well got things lined out. The street department will be closing off the streets that are necessary. Park board's going to bring the bleachers up, set them up and everything. So it's going to start early in the morning for those people, and I plan on being up there right with them to help coordinate it. And we are going to have our twin towers, Taylorville's tower truck and Payne's tower truck, there with a large American flag suspended between them. And that's where the procession of the presenting the colors is going to come through to take the flags up to the speaking area.
It sounds like you've planned this out really well, and we'll see how it plays out when it happens. Ted Chapman, organizer of the 9/11 Remembrance event, is who joins me in studio right now. Let's take a break, and we'll talk more on the other side here on the WTIM Morning Show on your information station.
Your information station, WTIM.
When it comes to connecting with America's farmers and ranchers, nothing beats the authentic voice of Ag Radio. Farm broadcasters have been the voice of rural America since 1944, building trusted relationships with agricultural producers across generations. Today, the network of over 140 Ag radio stations reaches farmers and ranchers during their most productive hours when they're actively working their operations and making business decisions. What makes Ag Radio uniquely effective? Farmers listen to farm broadcasters for information that directly impacts their livelihood. When your message is delivered alongside crucial weather updates, market reports, and agricultural news, it receives the same attention and credibility. Farm Radio Connects offers agricultural advertisers targeted access to this engaged audience through professionals who understand both broadcasting and agriculture. According to the National Association of Farm Broadcasting, 78% of farmers consider information from farm broadcasters highly trustworthy. When you need to reach rural America effectively, choose the voices they already trust. Visit IllinoisFarmRadio.com and discover how Ag Radio can elevate your agricultural marketing strategy.
Hi, this is Will Perkins with Taylorville Community Credit Union. 2026 is an exciting year at TCCU. We are building a new home office, upgrading our mobile app, and preparing to offer mobile check deposit, all to better serve our members. 2026 also marks our 70th anniversary. For 70 years, TCCU has been your local source for low loan rates, great deposit rates, and an organization proud to serve our local communities. Visit any of our convenient locations in Taylorville, Hillsboro, Litchfield, or Painter. You can also visit us online at tccu.org, member NCUA.
Springfield Clinic Taylorville's care team is growing. Here's Dr. Pavi Gill with Springfield Clinic Taylorville.
Springfield Clinic Taylorville is excited to welcome nurse practitioner Morgan Winans to the team. She is collaborating with Dr. Roger McClintock in internal medicine and pediatrics and is welcoming new patients now.
Call Springfield Clinic Taylorville today at 217-287-8855 to schedule your appointment now.
As America celebrates its 250th birthday, Prairie Farms is honoring the heroes who serve our country and our communities. We're proud to commit $250,000 to the Folds of Honor Foundation by providing life-changing scholarships for the children and spouses of fallen or disabled service members and first responders. Look for special Folds of Honor labels on Prairie Farms white milk gallons and half gallons at your local grocery store. Then visit prairiefarms.com to learn more. Help us support those who sacrifice so much by choosing locally made Prairie Farms milk.
Great news, Christian County. The Christian County Health Department now offers low-cost lab draws. Need their number? Just click their icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com. Your Christian County Health Department, working for a healthier future.
At First National Bank in Taylorville, switching banks isn't a hassle. It's easy by real people who care. Find out why they've been first every time for over 70 years by clicking their icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Your information station, WTIM.
Welcome back to the WTIM Morning Show on your information station. The show is sponsored by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville. I'm your host, Reed Kamai, and I've been speaking with Ted Chapman, organizer of the 9/11 Remembrance event that's going to happen in Taylorville in the fall on the 25th anniversary. Quarter century since that day, and it's set to happen. And you said that's on the north side of the Taylorville Square?
Be on the north side of the Taylorville Square. We chose that location. It highlights our courthouse, and it highlights that tall American flag right there. And love that flag.
Yep, that's right. So you've got that, and then in case the weather does not turn out well for that day, you said you're moving it to the fairgrounds, right?
Move it to the exhibition building in the fairgrounds.
Okay, and that's the one that you pass when you're on like Spresser Street. You just see it on the left?
Across from Ace Hardware.
Okay, all right, perfect. That's what I thought. I've actually been there before, but I just want to make sure so folks know. You said there would be parking at the fairgrounds.
There'll be parking at the fairgrounds if they don't want to try to get up on the square, because there will be a shuttle bus.
Yeah.
From Durham's bus service that will be carrying people up to the square there.
Okay, so you've got that there, and then who knows? Depending on how the weather plays out, maybe it'll happen at the fairgrounds, and then they're right there. So then the shuttles have to go the other way. It sounds like. So no, it sounds like you folks have that figured out, and really looking forward to see how that turns out. There's actually I was sort of gonna ask about this, thinking, when I came into the interview today, but then you mentioned that you're going to have the Taylorville High School band and choir there, and it kind of made me think. So, the folks who are going to be there, assuming they're all students, they were not around when this happened, and now they're going to have a role in this ceremony where you're going to remind people what happened. What does it mean to really be able to reach younger folks and educate them on this, considering they were not around?
Well, I hope that what it does, it sparks something in their mind, that they begin to really look at what happened, the lives that was lost, the innocent lives that they were just traveling. They were on a plane. They were going somewhere. And all of a sudden, they're crashing into these buildings, or they're crashing in the field in Pennsylvania. The people that worked in the towers, that they were just going about their everyday events. They were going to work. They were preparing for the day. And all of a sudden, they're in the midst of an inferno, that there's no escape really from, because it shut the elevators down. They're having to run downstairs from like the 96th floor. And some people above that had no way of escape, that just perished. An everyday day.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it's a catastrophe, something that was totally unexpected. But yet, on our part, it was totally unaccepted, but yet it was planned for that day. They said, I heard where those buildings were built to withstand the impact of a 727 and still stand. But the planes that flew into that were larger than 727s, and they were with full fuel capacities. Most of them had not used hardly any other fuel, and it just created an inferno that melted the steel, cracked the concrete, and caused the collapse of these buildings. And it's just, I know as I sat there and watched it happen, and then began to hear the personal safety devices going off on the firefighters, it was just a shock.
Yeah, and it sounds like now these younger folks who, not just the band and choir members, but, younger folks in town or anywhere, who did not, who weren't around for this, and they're gonna certainly here in Taylorville, they're gonna learn more about it, and we hope as well elsewhere. I do have to cut it off there though. Ted Chapman, organizer of the 9/11 Remembrance event, coming up, of course, in September. Ted, thank you for coming on and
Thank
for
you.
sharing your story and for your service to the country and to Taylorville in the fire department.
Thank you very much.
And this is the WTIM Morning Show.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington.